Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be going over the Ansul Class K fire extinguisher. So this right here is the Ansul K guard. It is really shiny and it looks like a water extinguisher, but this is not a water extinguisher. This right here is a Class K extinguisher designed for commercial grease fires. It is actually rated similarly to a water can. So a water extinguisher, for reference, is rated 2A. This extinguisher is rated 2AK, as you can see. So it has the performance of a water extinguisher, but also can handle Class K fires. So in a way, this is superior to a water extinguisher. As you can see here, this has the stainless steel cylinder. So we can go ahead and look at the extinguisher from the top down. So of course this valve is stainless steel. This has stainless steel handles, which is nice. Makes it a little extra durable. Certainly not as good as some other brands. I mean, this extinguisher is fairly loose, but it's okay. Of course, this is where the hose connects. It has just a standard water can thread. I don't really know the nitty-gritty of the actual measurement, but this is a universal fitting. Here's the gauge, standard gauge for wet chemical extinguishers. This extinguisher, actually, like I said, is supposed to be stainless steel, but I can see here that there is a lot of corrosion forming on the bottom handle. This is not grease, this is actual corrosion. And if we look at the top handle, yeah, so much for stainless. You can see here, there's a lot of corrosion in this extinguisher, and that's really kind of disappointing, because when somebody pays as much as these cost for an extinguisher, especially from a brand like Ansul, they probably would expect some better quality than this. I mean, that's just not really acceptable on an extinguisher that's supposed to be stainless. But nevertheless, going down, this is the instruction nameplate. I do like the instructions on this particular unit. You can actually see that the photo is a little outdated. So that's an actual Amerex extinguisher. Back in the day, before Ansul made their own Class K, they rebranded Amerex's unit, and so this was the label. There's a big warning here that says, in case of a fire, you're supposed to activate the suppression system first. I do like that. I think it's pretty neat. And then, of course, the Ansul K-Guard logo. So that's that. Forgot to mention that this extinguisher uses a proprietary pin. So you can see here, this pin is doubled up. So this is a two-pronged pin. I really don't like this at all, because if you're like me, to break the tamper seal on extinguishers, what I like to do is twist the pin, so I can just use one finger, twist it, and then pull it out. But on this extinguisher, there's no twisting involved. You have to just pull it straight out, and that kind of sucks, because that takes a lot of effort. And on top of that, because this extinguisher's pin is slightly off-center, if you're pulling at any sort of angle, like pulling, up or down or something like that, it's probably going to jam up, because of the fact there's two prongs, and the added friction of the second prong will prevent the pin from coming out. This is kind of a big deal. It might not sound like such a big deal, but to an untrained operator who's desperately trying to fight a fire, panicking, simple things like this make all the difference. Being able to get the pin out in an orderly manner or easy way is kind of important. Before I go over the internals and show you the inside, I wanted to go over the service interval. So this extinguisher has to be serviced every 5 years and hydro tested, unlike a standard ABC extinguisher that has to be hydro tested every 12 years and torn down every 6 years. This extinguisher is subject to hydro testing every 5 years, period. No exceptions. At the hydro test, every 5 years, the agent inside this extinguisher must be replaced. So you can't just reuse the agent. It has to be replaced with the correct type of agent. So each brand has their own proprietary Class K agent. This particular one uses Ansulex. So the correct agent has to be put in here. You can't use Badger agent in this extinguisher. You can't reuse the agent. Nothing. So Class K extinguisher agent has to be dumped and then replaced. It's highly corrosive, and it also does not stand the test of time, so must be replaced. So currently I'm not going to go and test this extinguisher right now, but I do have a different video of me earlier this year discharging it, so I'll show that now. So you can see here to open this unit, it's pretty much exactly like a water extinguisher. So there's this nut around the collar, and what you do is you just loosen this. So getting this unit open, you can see in here we have this fill thing. So basically this sits in the top, and then once liquid touches the bottom of this, that's how you know that the extinguisher is full. So that just sits in there, and then of course this is the valve assembly. The one thing I do like about these units is the fact that they do now all have metal siphon tubes. Most water-based units and Class K extinguishers do use plastic siphon tubes. I've had a bad experience with some of those, especially the older ones. They just snap off right at the base over here. In fact, I actually have one right here. So this is a siphon tube that was on a water extinguisher, snapped off right there. Now it's completely useless. Something to note is that the spring on this unit is wildly weak. Most water units, when you push them down, there's quite a big amount of force pushing the handle back up, but this unit, it's really weak. I could literally push this down with my pinky, so yeah, this sucks. I mean, I guess it's okay. For the most part, it does discharge fine, but a lot of times when I've used this unit, even with a new valve stem, it just, after all the main pressure is gone and you're just discharging it towards the end, the handle will get stuck down because there's not enough force to push the valve stem back up, and then the extinguisher will be stuck open and just keep discharging until it eventually runs out. So here's the inside of the valve. I really don't like these valves at all because you can see here, this valve stem is tiny. So, I mean, here's the size of another valve stem here. This is a Badger Class K valve stem. And you can see here, there's a major size difference. And then if we go ahead and look at an Amrex Class K valve stem, you can see both of these valve stems are way larger and more robust than this tiny little thing. Well, hello there, people. I'm currently editing this video and I'm watching that part, and that's what she said. So the reason why this is so tiny is because this is the exact same valve stem that you'll find in a ABC Sentry extinguisher. So the Ansul ABC extinguishers use the exact same valve stem as the Class K extinguisher. I don't know if there's any sort of corrosion resistance with these things. Apparently not, because this one's really bad. But anyways, so to finish recharging, you have to put the head back on, of course, tighten this bolt, hand tight, and then once you can't tighten it no more, make sure that the gauge lines up with the label. That's one of the most important things. Techs who don't do that bother me so much. It really takes no effort to get it done on a water-based extinguisher. Just literally line it up, make sure it looks right, and then you can pressurize it. But just, that's a personal pet peeve of mine when they don't line up. Unlike a water extinguisher, there is no Schrader valve on the back of this extinguisher for you to just use a standard air hose to connect to. So what you have to do is remove the hose and then use a adapter, which is also fairly easy. Alright, so basically what you're going to do is make sure that your air is off at first, and then you're going to hook it onto the end of the adapter. You're going to squeeze the handle. Right now there's no air flowing, and then you're going to slowly turn on the valve to turn on the air. Reason why I don't like to have my air connected at first is because if you're doing that and then all of a sudden you squeeze the handle, the air rushing in, that ends up just making the cylinder kind of bounce, and that's not good for the cylinder because of course that can cause dents and damage. So now you can turn on the air slowly and then squeeze the handle slowly and then just watch that gauge and then turn it off.